Look like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her infamous 22 number to a new one.
You've got to hear this, because what I'm about to tell you involves a public meltdown from a legend like Sue Bird that absolutely no one saw coming. It all centers around Caitlin Clark, who has allegedly drawn a line in the sand and told Team USA that she is completely done with them if they refuse to let her wear her iconic number 2. Sue's reaction to this ultimatum has sent shockwaves through the entire basketball world, leaving everyone absolutely stunned. Right now, the managing director of Team USA is desperately scrambling behind the scenes to control the damage, but let's be real, this situation is spiraling out of control, and it's spiraling. This isn't just some minor dispute. This might genuinely be the biggest and most self-inflicted crisis that women's basketball has faced in years. So, before we dive deep into Sue Bird's frantic reaction and unpack what Caitlin allegedly told the organization behind closed doors, I need you to tell me in the comments below, if you were in Caitlin's shoes, would you actually quit Team USA over a jersey number? Think about it. Because what's happening at this very moment could fundamentally change the future of USA basketball forever.
Because we ultimately know she was snubbed from the cover of Team USA. And not only is they snubbing her, the disrespect is continuing because it's looking like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her number. Now, this article has come out.
All right, so let's get right into it. Team USA basketball has just managed to create the single biggest crisis in women's basketball, and the wildest part is, they did it entirely to themselves. They actually made the call to force Caitlin Clark, who is, without any question, the undisputed face of the entire sport right now, to give up her iconic number 22 for their upcoming December training camp. According to sources who are extremely close to the situation, Caitlin's response was swift, direct, and basically amounted to, if I can't wear my number, then I'm not showing up. And now, the fallout is massive. Sue Bird, the managing director of Team USA, is reportedly losing her mind, frantically trying to figure out how this situation exploded and got so catastrophically out of control. Let's be crystal clear about something fundamental here. This isn't just a simple request for a number change. This is being widely viewed as a blatant, calculated, and deeply disrespectful act toward the one star who single-handedly brought millions of new fans and eyes to women's basketball. We are talking about the player whose name is arguably bigger than the sport itself at this moment, being told that her most recognizable symbol, her brand identity, must be left behind. It's an unbelievable move that has fans, analysts, and literally everyone in between asking the same question: does Team USA even begin to understand the generational talent and cultural phenomenon they have in Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a very creative person. I was born on January 22nd, so it's what I went with when I was about 5 years old, so.
The bombshell officially dropped just ahead of Team USA's absolutely critical training camp in North Carolina, which was scheduled to run from December 12th through the 14th. You have to understand, this camp was supposed to be a massive celebration of the sport, a showcase of the absolute best talent the world has to offer, featuring a star-studded roster with names like Paige Bueckers, Juju Watkins, and many others. Instead of a celebration, it instantly became the center stage for this unprecedented and frankly bizarre controversy that might very well result in the biggest name in all of basketball refusing to even participate. Whispers turned into reports, which then started surfacing everywhere, revealing this shocking mandate from the organization that would effectively strip Clark of the number that has become completely and totally synonymous with her record-shattering college career and her absolutely dominant performances in the WNBA. The timing of this decision only makes it more baffling and questionable. It comes at the exact moment her fame is exploding on a global scale, a move which only serves to amplify the intense outrage being felt by her dedicated, passionate, and rapidly growing army of supporters. And now, those very supporters are flooding social media, encouraging Caitlin to stand her ground and refuse to compromise on something so absolutely fundamental to her brand and her identity.
The case to be made that Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There is no argument to be made. There's no case to be made. Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number for any woman athlete in the world.
Let there be absolutely no mistake about it. because this is the heart of the issue. Caitlin Clark's number 22 isn't just some random collection of digits on a jersey. It is, without a single shred of a doubt, the single most recognizable number in all of women's sports right now. Period. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. There is no serious debate. There is no valid argument that can possibly be made against this undeniable reality. From her mind-blowing Logo 3 performances at the University of Iowa that broke the internet, to her explosive professional career with the Indiana Fever, the number 22 has become a completely inseparable core part of her public identity. It's a beacon for her brand, a symbol that fans can instantly recognize whether they're sitting in the nosebleed seats in sold-out arenas or watching on their television screens from halfway around the world. To the millions and millions of people who follow her every move, it's not just a number on a jersey, it's a legacy being built in real time, a symbol of a revolution in the sport. Her entire brand, the compelling narrative of her incredible journey, and her powerful story are all intrinsically and inextricably linked to that number. It embodies the audacious, long-range three-pointers, the almost psychic court vision she possesses, and the sheer, unyielding will to win that has captivated a massive global audience stretching far, far beyond the traditional basketball fan base.
Clark to wear number 17 at Team USA training camp. On December 24th, news broke that Caitlin Clark will be taking a part in the training, which that's what we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, this right here this came out this came out on the 24th. So these are the numbers, man. So head on over to Twitter and check this out real quick. So this is what was released right here. It says Lauren Betts. Hold on. Here's the ages. Where's the number? Here we go. Right here. So these are the numbers. Caitlin Clark. Let me blow this all the way up, man. I want to blow this all the way up so y'all can see this. So as y'all can see there, man, how did Caitlin Clark's number will be changed? So who's wearing 22? Or if you guys remember, Michael Jordan wore number 45 in the Olympics. Could Caitlin, because it don't look like no one's wearing number 22.
She has literally become synonymous with the number 22 in the exact same way that the world forever links Michael Jordan with 23 or the great Wayne Gretzky with 99. It's that iconic. To demand a change at this pivotal point in her career feels, to many, like a deliberate and calculated attempt to dilute that incredibly powerful connection she's worked so hard to build. It's a perplexing and head-scratching move that leaves absolutely everyone wondering what the motivation could possibly be. Unless, of course, the motivation is exactly what it appears to be on the surface. Asserting organizational control over a player who has undeniably become bigger than the organization itself. And here's what makes this whole fiasco even more frustrating for Caitlin's legions of fans. This isn't the first time that USA Basketball has seemingly undervalued her unprecedented influence on the game. Do you remember earlier this year when she was conspicuously, almost shockingly, snubbed from the Olympic roster? That glaring omission baffled onlookers everywhere, especially when you consider her undeniable global appeal and the massive, record-shattering television viewership numbers she consistently commands. This emerging pattern of either overlooking or actively undermining her rising star status continues to fuel intense speculation that there's a deeper, more complicated agenda at play here. Perhaps it's a resistance within the old guard of the organization to fully embracing the revolutionary game-changer that she so clearly represents. Because when you just look at the raw facts, none of this makes any logical sense, unless you start to consider that Team USA might actually be threatened by just how powerful Caitlin has become. So what number were they trying to force her to wear? The official word is that Caitlin Clark would be wearing number 17 for the upcoming USA training camp. 17. Now, while it's just an arbitrary number on its own, its real significance lies in the fact that it is emphatically not number. This forced alteration, especially when you consider the immense brand recognition she brings to the table, sparks a whole array of pointed questions. You have to ask yourself, is this a deliberate power play by the organization to assert its control, to show everyone who's really bought? Or is it simply a tone-deaf, out-of-touch decision that completely fails to grasp the cultural impact of her established brand? Either way you slice it, the message being sent to Clark feels uncomfortably clear. We're in charge, and your popularity doesn't give you special treatment here. And according to multiple reports, Caitlin's response was essentially, "Then I don't need to be here." What makes this entire situation even more infuriating for Caitlin's supporters is the stunning, almost unbelievable revelation that no one, and I mean absolutely no one, on the entire USA basketball training camp roster will be wearing number 22. Just let that sink in for a moment. It's not like the number was already claimed by a long-standing veteran player or a highly respected star with an unbreakable senior claim to it. The number is simply being left empty, unused, and available. This single detail completely transforms the incident. It goes from being a potential roster conflict or a simple logistical headache into what feels like an overt, undeniable act of perceived marginalization against the most impactful and popular player of her generation. If nobody else is wearing the number, why on earth would you force Caitlin to change? The logic simply doesn't exist. The justification completely falls apart under the slightest scrutiny, and that's exactly why Caitlin allegedly drew her line in the sand. And now Sue Bird is left dealing with the consequences of this disastrous decision. As the managing director of Team USA Basketball, Sue is the one responsible for building the program's future. She handpicked these players for this training camp. She's supposed to be cultivating the next generation of American basketball dominance. But instead of doing that, she's mired in a crisis entirely of Team USA's own making. Because forcing your biggest star to compromise on something so fundamental to her identity was always inevitably going to blow up in their faces. Sue Bird's reported reaction has been described as everything from frustrated to downright panic. Sources suggest she's been working overtime behind the scenes, desperately trying to find a solution that keeps Caitlin in the fold, while also not completely undermining whatever arbitrary policy led to this mess in the first place. But here's the problem they've created for themselves. Caitlin holds all the cards in this situation. She doesn't need Team USA. Team USA desperately needs her. Think about it. Caitlin is already a champion. She's already broken nearly every record imaginable. She's already changed the sport forever. She's already the most marketable player in women's basketball history. What does she actually gain from playing for Team USA if they're going to disrespect her brand in the process? The Olympic glory? She can live without it. The international experience? She's already proven herself at every single level. The honor of representing her country? Well, that honor loses its shine when the country's own basketball federation treats you like you're just another replaceable cog in the machine. Meanwhile, what does Team USA lose if Caitlin refuses to play? They lose everything. They lose their biggest draw by far. They lose the one player who brings mainstream primetime attention to women's basketball. They lose the athlete who fills arenas to capacity and spikes television ratings into the stratosphere. They lose the undisputed face of the next generation. Sue Bird knows this. That's why she's reportedly losing it behind the scenes, because this situation exposes just how little leverage Team USA actually has over its biggest star. This specific controversy also serves as a stark, powerful reminder of the broader disrespect that women in sports, particularly in the WNBA, so often have to face. It ties directly into the ongoing struggles for equitable pay, for better working conditions, and for the increased recognition they deserve for their incredible athletic accomplishments. Think about it. When the most visible and popular star in the entire sport is treated this way over something so basic, it sends a negative ripple effect throughout the entire league. It echoes the long-standing frustrations and highlights the deep-rooted systemic issues that still plague women's basketball, even despite its recent and incredible surge in popularity. The ongoing, tense discussions around the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement and the very real threat of a lockout only underscore these deep-seated problems. The players are becoming increasingly vocal about feeling profoundly undervalued by team owners and governing bodies, citing a stark contrast between their immense contributions to the sport's growth and the respect and compensation they actually receive in return. So this number change isn't just an isolated incident. It's another data point in a much larger narrative of perceived disregard for the true worth of female athletes. The players are tired of the constant, exhausting battles for basic respect. And when Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in the sport, allegedly says enough is enough, it sends a powerful message to every other player watching. You don't have to accept disrespect just because it comes from a prestigious organization. Now, it's true that Caitlin isn't the only player who wears number 22. A'ja Wilson, a phenomenal talent and respected veteran, also wears it. as do other great players like Cameron Brink. This fact has historically sparked conversations about how such high-profile players might share the number, especially in all-star game scenarios. But here's the key difference that changes everything. The discussion always revolved around who would graciously defer in a situation where both players were present. It was never about stripping one of the game's biggest names of her signature number when there was no legitimate conflict to begin with. The previous year, this potential number conflict between Clark and Wilson for an all-star spot was conveniently circumvented when Clark didn't play due to an injury. This meant the hypothetical situation of them sharing or deciding on the number never fully materialized. Now it appears USA Basketball preemptively decided to solve a problem that doesn't actually exist, pushing Clark into a new number without any apparent need for such a drastic and controversial measure. And you know what? They're learning the hard way that Caitlin isn't interested in accepting unnecessary compromises. Then the official roster list for the USA Basketball training camp finally dropped, providing concrete, undeniable evidence of the number swap. And there it was, in plain text for the world to see, Caitlin Clark listed with number 7. So there you have it, Team USA forced Caitlin Clark to change her number. She allegedly threatened to quit, and now Sue Bird is scrambling to fix this self-inflicted mess. So what do you think Caitlin should do? Should she walk away, or should she compromise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more basketball drama. Trust me, this story isn't over yet. I'll see you next time.